Vibe one time for your mind.
Welcome to Sunbeat Live. I'm Adrian Valente with Sunbit, and if you're one of our dealership partners, you're in the right place. Happy Wednesday, May 20th, and thanks for joining our weekly educational series where we change up the topics each week to help you build your comfort and confidence in using Sunbit on your service drives with your customers. And by the way, if you're tuned in live on Zoom events, you're going to get Sunbeat app rewards points as our way of saying thank you, usually deposited within the next 48 hours or so. And boy, we got a whole bunch of good stuff planned for this episode, and we're keeping things a bit cozy. But of course, on Wednesdays, we are joined by show producer and co-host. Please welcome to the program, Queenita Brown. Queenita, how are you?
I am wonderful. How are you? Happy Wednesday, y'all.
Happy Wednesday.
I see in chat them asking about Ravi.
Oh, what on my sweatshirt?
Yeah.
This was a leadership training course. We had a few of them at Sunbit over the years, and Ravi was the first one I ever attended, and then there was Tayo was the other one.
Yeah.
And those two classes, those cohorts, got these sweatshirts, and
super
today
cool sweaters. I was on maternity leave. So I missed the wave, unfortunately, because I love the sweaters. They're both so nice. Because the other one, the Tayo one, is tan, right? Is it the sandy one?
Yeah.
Jealous.
I'll save that for another episode. Because we figured, when we were talking about what to wear, we've never worn hoodies on the show before. And we thought, this is kind of a heady topic, overcoming the fear of offering Sunbit and offering financing.
So let's get cozy.
Yeah, let's get cozy with it.
Let's make it a comfortable conversation.
Yeah. Damon asking, is it an acronym? No, it's not. Our previous chief people officer, it was one of the things she did. I don't know, it's not an acronym, but I kind of forget what they stood for. I think it was. Forgive me. I'm a terrible student. I don't remember.
Where's your music?
Oh, man. I know, right? All right. So before we get to it, let's do a quick update on maybe the Elite Escape.
Because it is almost over. It's May 20th.
I know. I can't believe we're near the end of May already, and I'm going to miss wearing our Hawaiian leis whenever we talk about the Elite Escape.
Too much today. Okay. I could not get this crown over my big old head.
A lot of you, if you're in the know, you've been participating in the Elite Escape Challenge that's been running since March 2nd through May 30th, where you can earn your opportunity to win a trip to Hawaii with a guest. You can bring a +1 with you. And since May 11th, there's been a special accelerator getting you double the draw entries for each Sunbit transaction. So many of you know the top 15 performers are going to Hawaii, but 5 lucky Paradise picks will be selected after May 30th. And we're actually going to be talking about that on our June 3rd episode. Right, Nita?
Yes.
I like your... Let's go to the leaderboard.
The crowd is just not working today. I'm just going to stick to the lay. The hair's too big. It's full of secrets. Okay.
Well,
yes. Elite Escape. Double the draws. And we have, 10 days left? When is it over? The 30th? 10 days left.
It is over on the 30th. I can't believe it's only 10 days left. But let's take a look at what's happening. So you can head over to the Elite Escape website, sunbeast.com/Elite Escape Auto. And you can head over to the leaderboard. It's going to ask you for a password. And let's check in real quick and see how folks are doing.
Justin was on there because he said he's packing.
Maybe just confident in the Paradise pick.
Very confident. Yeah.
It's a lot of draw entries. Look at those numbers.
Or he could be a +1 for one of these people, right, Justin? I believe in you. I love that you're packing. I want you to pack.
Boy, these top Sunbeats here,
Hey.
246 customers helped by Justin. Ismail, 211 customers helped
Oh,
since
Justin
May 2nd.
number one is
March
here
2nd.
though. Hey,
No way.
your honeymoon
No
trip
way. The number one is here, Justin. Hold on, let's go to the chat.
Hey.
Amazing. You're crushing it.
that
Oh my
for
gosh.
you.
You're like a celebrity. We've been looking at that leaderboard every week. Congratulations, Justin. Going to
Yes,
use this trip
congrats.
as their honeymoon. Not too shabby.
But yeah, we have the episode coming up the week after that, right?
June
after
3rd.
it closes, June 3rd, we're going to do the Paradise Pick live. So make sure you guys are there. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah. And before we continue, just in the spirit of education, I want to go back in the chat and make sure we're helping Fernando out real quick. So Fernando's asking, if a customer chooses the 6-month plan, can they call in and change it to a different plan? They can't, because it's a contract and it's locked in. So here are the options. Now, let's say they want that 3 months 0%. The 0% is only available if they select that plan specifically. And there's no way to extend the Sunbit without just canceling the original one and doing a fresh one. So if you wanted to help out your customer and do that for them, we'll honor whatever return, refund, or cancellation you need. Queenita walked us through that a couple weeks ago. We had a dedicated episode for adjustments and cancellations. So Fernando, you can also check out that episode on Spotify and YouTube if you want to go back and check it out. But they can always pay down their loan earlier. Like, that's totally
Damon
cool.
said.
There's, yeah. Thank you, Damon. And there's no penalties. Some other financing will do like a prepayment penalty fee, but we don't do that. There's no fees at Sunbit whatsoever. So if they did, a 6-month plan, they want to pay it off in 5 or 4, no problem. If they want to change it to a longer term, you can put in a cancellation and then redo a new Sunbit with them for a longer term. That's totally fine. Yeah. Very good. Did I miss anything on that one?
Nope.
No? Okay. Great question, Fernando. Thanks for bringing that up. I know Wasif, is Wasif here today? He's always asking for the
I've seen him.
6-month 0% option. I don't know. I was in a meeting yesterday and they're cooking up something. So maybe later this year, we'll see. I don't know. It's pretty exciting. So Wasif, stay tuned. Very good. That would be amazing. We're going to get there. For those of you that have been with us for years, you know that Sunbit always gets better. Every year there's always updates and changes, and we're pushing things and we're getting better, and it's amazing. So we got a lot of fun stuff cooked up for all of you pretty soon. Okay,
Woo!
With that, we should probably get to the news.
Let's get to the news.
Let's do it.
All right. So today's article is from Goldman Sachs. Let's talk about inflation. How many of us are feeling impacted by inflation? Oh,
Yeah,
me. What
it's-
about you, Adrian?
It's a little, yeah. Stuff's expensive. Everything's expensive.
It is. Everything's expensive. And with the industries that we are serving here, auto, dental, it's impacting us too. It's impacting our customers. So it's important for us to kind of be aware of what's going on. And in this article, it talks about who is being hit the hardest by the rising prices in America. And due to the higher energy costs, food costs, there have been SNAP and Medicaid cuts. That bottom percentile is really getting impacted hard by these costs. I remember reading about the SNAP and Medicaid cuts too. What about you, Adrian?
Yeah. It's, folks who are already under a lot of pressure, getting squeezed even further. It's pretty heart-wrenching, to be honest.
Yeah.
But that's why we need options to provide people with some reprieve, some flexibility, some breathing room. That at the core of what financing is, that's what it is. It gives you time. You pay interest to buy you time. And that breathing room is important to a lot of folks, especially for the things they need, like car service.
Yeah. And I mean, even with like how it's impacting how a consumer spends,
Mm,
what this article talks about is, people are trying to stretch their dollar, which kind of goes into what you were just saying, like being able to spread things out by having payment options. Some people are, an example they gave in this article was, even though you're washing clothes or you're doing laundry with laundry detergent, you might put more clothes in the washing
hmm
machine per load so that you can stretch that laundry detergent. And that's how a lot of people are moving right now, trying to find ways to make things last, things that they need. So being more conservative with what they have and how they're using it is something that's happening a lot right now.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like Sunbit is really to help the money maximizers, folks who are really looking
Oh,
to,
yeah.
yeah.
And then, of course, for businesses, we all see that high prices. We talked about but last year around this same time, the tariffs, um, rising fuel prices. I don't know how much is gas in Cali right now, Adrian?
Gosh, I passed a dealership the other day that was over $7 a gallon.
Whoo, 7?
Um,
That's
yeah,
wild. We're at, I think
yeah.
here by my house, some of places are over 5, but by my house it's like 480. But that's still pretty high. Oh, look,
Yeah, it reminds me,
399, 437 in chat.
gosh, it reminds me back, was it 07, 08? Back then I used to drive a Chevy Avalanche with like a 34-gallon
Whew.
tank, special option. And that thing hurt so bad every time I
Oh,
filled it.
yeah.
Now I'm getting like PTSD seeing the gas prices.
Oh my gosh, you said
Folks in the chat,
$7?
yeah, it was actually, yeah, it was in an expensive part of town. Folks in
Yeah.
chat telling us, Tim, it's 437 over there. Justin 389. Ray's telling us Colorado 456. Jeff premiums $5. Fernando 425 in El Paso. Yeah,
Man, I
it,
like
it
these
is.
$3 are nice to
I know, I'm
us,
jealous.
who are over here. But it's probably high for you guys though, because it's obviously still going up everywhere.
Yeah, a lot of I drive a 2011 Hyundai Genesis Coupe, has like 145,000 miles on it. Love that thing. And I filled in less than half a tank the other day, and it was $55. And I was like,
Oh my
what?
God.
Crazy,
That's
crazy.
crazy. But I mean, with
Yeah,
all of
that little
these
car.
high costs and, people are trying to be conservative, gas is expensive. It definitely could make us feel uncomfortable with, trying to force them to spend money, right? Which leads us into our topic of overcoming different types of fears that might prevent you from offering Sunbit as a payment option.
Yes, and how you can help folks. So chat, this is actually a good time. Maybe we should actually check in with the poll question we've been running for the live audience to kind of
Yeah,
see.
let's see it.
Yeah, let's head over to the poll. Let me see here. We are QB. There we go. Okay, so our poll question for the live Zoom events audience is: what prevents you from offering Sunbit to every customer? Right now, if you're unable to see the screen, maybe you're just listening on Spotify. Right now, the number one is fear of offending the customer or sounding pushy. Yeah, that's definitely one we hear a lot in Sunbit training.
Scroll down,
Sorry,
Adrian. I wanted to see how many
oh,
did I ain't never scared.
I never scared.
Anyone know
Oh,
my quote? What's that from? Because it looks like over half of us ain't never scared.
I ain't
What
never
is
scared.
that from? Who is that famous quote from?
I want to see if somebody gets us in chat. We're gonna.
Me too, because
Let's see.
Adrian was like, what? Hey, Corey! 25 points for Corey!
You taking notes?
I ain't never scared. Just kidding.
Nice,
But more
Corey.
than half of you guys are not afraid, so that's good. Make sure you guys are jumping in chat and sharing your tips for our folks who do have, some fear of offering Sunbit. But
Yeah.
Adrian, I bid you farewell. The fear of me leaving is now.
Wait, you're leaving now? Shoot.
Au revoir. Overcome your
Okay.
fears. Have a
Okay.
wonderful day. Adios.
Bye, Queenita. Take care. it's just us. She has to take off. So it's just you and me, chat. We're just gonna hang out a little bit. So if you have any questions, now's the time, because hey, we're just hanging out. We're just talking shop, overcoming the fear of offering. I got to be honest, I kind of forgot she was leaving at that point, so I'm glad she said something. Thank you, Nita. Go safe travels. I will see you at the next episode. Thomas, just like old times. Just like old times. Chelsea already throwing on some tips here in the chat. If you're nervous about how to say it, make a call script. That's a good one. That's a good one. Let's actually let's go back to that poll. I want to go back to that poll. Hold on a second. Let me go. Is it this one? Here we go. Okay. So, fear of offending people or sounding pushy. Looks like the second most popular one is lacking confidence in explaining the process. Yeah, lack of, especially if folks are asking questions about how certain things work or parts of the program that you're uncomfortable answering. Yeah, it totally makes sense. That's why so many of you have told us that you end up scanning yourself on the iPad in order to show people how easy it is. I'm definitely guilty of that too. We definitely don't ask you to do that. That's not like a thing you ever have to do. So please don't mistake me by saying like, you got to apply on Sunbit to show people. No. But sometimes it's just as easy as seeing for themselves. And that's why having like a monthly payment example chart, you hear me talk about this all the time, like our ops team, our success team can send you these, or you can print them out in your dashboard marketing section. What's the other one here? So fear of rejection. That's a legitimate concern. Some of you have been doing this a long time. We know that 56% of service recommendations get declined on service drives coast to coast, regardless of OEM. Like, being rejected is a big part of the job. But I know that being rejected twice is a challenge for a lot of folks. As much as I love educating people, folks assume I'm good at sales. I'm not. I don't like talking about money, but that's why you are all successful service advisors and I am not, because none of you put money conversation being a difficult or uncomfortable thing. So first, let's talk about fear of offending people or sounding pushy. So to understand that one, I think it begs the question, where does that come from? Like, why would someone be offended? Why would someone feel that you're being pushy? And, we can have a conversation about this, but I would posit that, hey, it's probably because they've been burned before, right? They've been burned before. I've been burned in the past. It's definitely happened to me. My villain origin story with financing happened right after college. I'll tell this quick story. I don't know if I've told this before, but back then, I won't say the name of the bank, but the bank, I did my private college loans. I went to a private university and financed the entire thing, all 4 years. And it was a hefty sum of money. And I remember moving to Minnesota after I graduated college, like a year later, and there were coworkers of mine buying beautiful houses for less than my student debt, and that crushed me. But at the time, there was a deal. Instead of doing income-based repayments, if you do the standard repayment, you will be able to remove your cosigner after 4 years, which was my father. And I wanted nothing more than to remove that burden for him. So if I can just do this for 4 years, he's off as my cosigner. It's all on me. I'd love to do that. 3.5 years into it, the bank sold my loan to another bank. And the new bank who took over said, oh yeah, that program, we don't do that. And thus began my villain origin story with financing and why I get fired up talking about this, because that was just one experience in a string of many bad financing experiences that I've had. And I know I'm not alone. And it's interesting. Jeff saying something here in chat. I know a lot of people with higher income that use Sunbit more than what I would consider, lower class. There's this misconception that financing, especially at the point of sale, like you guys are doing on your service drives, that it's for folks who are on the lower end of the credit score spectrum. And that's a misconception because, and we're going to go back to I've been burned in the past and why people feel offended, because that stigma around needing financing instead of simply wanting it is part of what makes it so awkward. Many of us carry emotional baggage when it comes to finances. Lending Club did a report a couple of years ago that showed people would rather speak openly about their divorce than their finances. People don't like talking about this stuff. So even if you're comfortable, your customer might not be. So this is one where, what do you say? Well, we totally get it. A lot of people have been burned by financing, and that's why we partnered with Sunbit. They're transparent. They're based here in the U.S. They have a call center in Las Vegas. Like when you call them, you talk to a U.S. employee. There's no fees. There's no late fees. There's no prepayment penalties. None of that stuff. A lot of the things that people have been burned by, hidden fees, deferred interest traps, terms that weren't disclosed to them properly, people who assumed they were on the lower end of the credit score spectrum and offered financing as if it was the only way to go. These are the things that burden people with that emotional baggage. So remind people why you have Sunbit, why you've used it, and why so many of us are huge believers in what we're doing. Because nobody's coming to save us in the world of financing. We have to do it ourselves. So we have to build it better if we want it to be better, if that makes sense. But let's go back into the chat and let's check in. Chelsea, remember, the worst they can do is tell you no. And all you're doing is planting the seed, because even if they don't need it today, that's okay. They might need it next time. They might really appreciate the fact that you put it on their radar. All right? That's why so many of you, even with folks declining it, I've heard many Sunbeasts will still follow up with a pre-qualification link for a rainy day. Here's a link you can save in case you ever want to poke around and see what you have available to you. And you can always call me if you got questions, right? I like Damon. Layaway, but you get it today. That's a good one. That's a good one. Ray Washington, I send that link every chance I get. Yeah, because you're planting the seed for a future need. I didn't mean for that to rhyme, and it totally did. That's what's up. All right, let's go to the next concern. The down payment is too high. Oh, this one comes up quite a bit, Now, full transparency. The amount due at checkout, or the down payment, is required for everybody. Even if it's as low as $1, there's always something for today. Now, the down payment is what enables us to approve so many people. It's quite simple, really. Like folks who have a little bit of skin in the game, even $1, they're more likely to make those payments. And that healthy repayment behavior is important for keeping all of the rates low. Good for you, good for the business, good for the customer, because so many financing companies hemorrhage money. There's a lot of financial waste, and they have to make up for that financial waste with fees and gotchas and hidden things. So the way we fight against that is by using smarter, more transparent math. So Sunbit's pretty simple. There's a little bit you got to pay today, and then you split up the rest over time. But if that amount you have to pay today is too high, let's explore some options. Like, for example, you can split tender in your DMS. So maybe they don't have to put all of this on a Sunbit. Maybe they can split it with another payment method. And by bringing the cost of the Sunbit down, you're able to lower the amount due at checkout. Now, the other thing I'll recommend, because some folks forget about this, make sure to select all the different monthly payment options, because sometimes the down payment is different on each option. And that gives customers a good opportunity to see maybe something that works better for their budgeting needs. Let's go check in on chat real quick. Yeah, Jeff, bringing up a good point. If you've used Sunbit before, that's how you unlock the $1 down payment. So if you ever see a customer with a $1 down payment, it doesn't matter where they used Sunbit before. It could be like at the dentist or at their veterinary clinic. But if you see a $1 down payment, pat them on the back. Be like, oh, hey, you got the $1 down payment. If you used this before, and that's actually maybe a good conversation to have. They already know how all this works. You're going to be cooking with gas and fly right through it. Ray Washington, the down payment issue I never run into because I explain it may be a bit high, but it's still lower than the full bill today. Yes, Ray. Fantastic bonus points for that one. Ray, I'm gonna do an extra 40 because I'm feeling generous right now. We're gonna do 40 points because that was a great way to put a bow on it. Fantastic. Yeah, Damon Scott building that value. That's what Ray's doing. You're juxtaposing the alternative. The alternative is paying for the full amount right now. Cash, credit, however. But with Sunbit, you're not paying for all of it now, just that down payment part, And if it requires you to move things around, maybe defer some other work for another day, maybe they need help from a family member, maybe you want to split tender in your DMS, these are the options you can explore. Very good. So let's go to why Sunbit instead of other options. Yeah, if I've had a bad financing experience, why would I trust what you say about this Sunbit company? This is actually one of the reasons we encourage you to offer Sunbit as early as possible in the journey so they have a chance to look for themselves, to go to our Google reviews, to look at us on Trustpilot, to see what the public has to say about us. And that's an important step in building trust with using Sunbit to pay for their bill. So if you're leveraging that pre-qualification link and you're bringing things up early, it really helps with that value conversation, And there's a big reason why we are the leader in fixed ops financing, why over 11,000 dealers use us on their service drives, why the top 25 auto groups all use Sunbit, and why 18 OEMs are now officially endorsing Sunbit as one of their parts and service financing partners. I like what Emmanuel is putting in the chat real quick with, a trusted option that frees up your money today. That's an important aspect, Financing is never fun to talk about. And you want to leverage your tools to help plant the seed at various stages in the customer journey. Sometimes folks aren't really receptive to hearing about Sunbit when they're dropping off their car or going through your additional service recommendations. And sometimes they may have brushed it off earlier, but then now they're looking at some status update that you've provided. Tech got under the hood, noticed some safety issues, you're relaying it to the customer. And now they're like, hey, what was that thing you were talking about earlier? And even if they don't need it for today's job or the vehicle they brought in, how do you know they don't have another vehicle at home they've been deferring work on? So instead of deferring the work, you can just defer the payments. So, that's why I really like what Emmanuel was putting in here, giving folks options, freeing up what people have to spend. And, Tim Cruz, I feel like it builds trust with the customer because they see we're trying to help them out, whether they just, shoot out a number they have to come up with, this Damon Scott, another good addition here. I know this visit isn't very fun, but let's make it as easy as possible. Let's take a look at some options. Very good, you guys. Absolutely crushing it. We'll do, I'm feeling generous. So Tim and Damon, we'll do another 20. No, 40. I should just do 40. There we go. The Sunbeast team is going to be furious with me. It's okay. We're in the last of the Elite Escape. Skylar asking a great question. How to overcome the objection of Sunbit versus credit card use? That's a good one. Okay. So With a credit card, we actually had a whole episode about this. If you want to go back to our YouTube or Spotify, but I know I'm running up against the end of our time, but this is a good one. We'll end with this question and we'll wrap up. So with a credit card, you might possibly have a variable interest rate. Most credit cards have a variable APR, which means they kind of change over time. It may not, it kind of depends on the credit card company, kind of depends on what the federal government is doing. If the Fed changes the prime rate, a lot of credit card companies adjust their interest rates based on that prime rate. So if you are carrying a balance on your credit card, like let's say you were going to do a 6-month Sunbit, but instead you put that on a credit card and you paid off the credit card in 6 months, depending on your terms with the credit card company, you might actually pay more interest that way instead of just locking it in with a loan. So with a Sunbit, a simple interest installment loan, you're locking in the rate. It never changes. It's a fixed rate. And you can always pay off the loan earlier and pay less interest. That's how simple interest installment loans work. And this is why so many of you love that 3-month 0% option, because that gives people breathing room without any interest whatsoever. They just pay the amount due today and then 3 more payments and it's done. Set it and forget it. So yeah, Shannon, pay off early with no fee. That's the other thing. Interest free, 3 months, Amber, excellent. So yeah, and then there's also credit card processing fees, Karen bringing that up too. So it still costs more to do a credit. There's still a cost there, and the cost with Sunbit isn't that far off. However, a credit card, listen, we've heard stories. I remember when Eliza Chalakian from Team Sunbit was on about last summer, and she told this story about how a service advisor, was able to pitch Sunbit early in the process to a customer. They said yes to the work. Everything got done. And then at the end, the customer decided, you know what, I'm just going to put this on my credit card. And that's okay. That's great. As long as the work got done and the customers stay safe on the road, that's what matters. And if Sunbit helped facilitate getting that done, whether or not they used it, great. That's why you get rewarded with points for doing pre-qualifications and scanning IDs. It's not just about closing transactions, because we want to thank you for the effort, even if they don't end up using it. But it's and Damon bringing up a good point. Credit cards are why people feel burned. If you're responsible with your credit card, that's great. Like I have a Best Buy credit card. I use their deferred interest promotions all the time whenever I need to make a sizable purchase for some kitchen appliance or thing we need with the family. If I have the option to split it up for 6 months, no interest on my credit card, I got to be responsible and make those payments on time. I don't want to get hit with, a late fee or all that deferred interest hit me in the face. But, with Sunbit, it keeps it simple. Everyone's getting approved, right? Pretty much everyone, 9 out of 10 at the least, right? They get flexible options. They don't have to use it. Doesn't hurt to check. U.S. call center. Hey, you could totally put it on your credit card if you want to get points and all that stuff, sure. But if you plan to carry a balance for the same amount of time as a Sunbit, it might be worth looking at locking it in with a loan, just so that you have it fixed. Because, the truth is, most financing options look good until they don't. And this is why you need to look out for hidden fees and, penalties, because you deserve better. And that's why the magic of Sunbit really helps to alleviate stress around the red flags we see with financing options, and how Sunbit does it better. Approving more, no fees, faster, no gimmicks, helping you earn more U.S. support. That's the magic of Sunbit, right? All right. This was a good one. I hope you guys enjoyed today's topic, overcoming the fear. I know I went past on time, so I'm going to start wrapping up here. But if you have any more questions, reach out to us, success@sunbit.com. Got to call out Afton. I like that. We accept cash, check, credit, debit, or payment plan. Oh, payment plan? What do you mean? Here, let me show you, right? Let that tablet do the work for you. And Damon reminding us, remember, customers can change their due date as well. Jeff Manzanares, good to see you, buddy. We've missed you, man. Jeff letting us know in the chat, Sunbit's very clear, open about all the options, and that's what matters, because, you wouldn't offer something to your customer if you didn't trust it. That's important. All right. Coming up next, we're having fun next week with Sunbit Trivia. We're doing Kahoot, and it's been a while, a long time since Queenita and I have done it together. Usually she runs the Kahoot solo when I'm out, but we're going to wrap up May and the Elite Escape season with Kahoot Trivia, and then join us on the 3rd. We have a very special episode of Sunbeast Nation Summer Kickoff. We're going to be doing the Paradise Pick raffle for Hawaii live on the program. Be sure to tune in on the 3rd, and then on June 10th, we're going back to basics with different ways to offer Sunbit to help you with talk tracks and all the tools you need to help further your comfort and confidence using this on your service drives. And be sure to follow us on YouTube, where you can catch our shorts as well as full episodes simulcast and published later this afternoon on Spotify. So those episodes are always dropping on Wednesdays. And let me go ahead and put the link tree in the chat for everybody. But this was a blast. Thank you so much, everybody. From all of us at Sunbit, thank you so much for being part of the Sunbeast user community, for sharing Sunbit with the people you serve, and hopefully we'll catch you on the next episode with myself and Queenita. Take care, folks. We'll see you then. It's weird dancing by myself. Kind of weird doing this solo. Take care, folks. See you Wednesday.